Tensions have reportedly flared up inside the Mercedes camp after a poor start to the new Formula One season in Bahrain. Mercedes was no closer to Red Bull, same as last season. To make things worse, both Mercedes cars were overtaken by both Aston Martin cars on track. This has increased the pressure within the Mercedes team, as Toto Wolff has reportedly fired an ultimatum towards Mike Elliot to revive the dying W14 project. Let's talk about the ultimatum a bit later in this video. First, let's take a look at how Mercedes landed at this spot. Much of Mercedes' 2022 development was spent on addressing the key fundamental issues that plagued the W13, namely its proclivity to bounce and porpoise. The team persisted in its belief that its car concept had heaps of potential that remained untapped, and if it could just stamp out the vertical movement, it reckoned it could start to fight for victories more regularly once more. The W14 is the culmination of that development. It no longer bounces, and it has had all the ailments that the previous car was afflicted with cured. And yet, it's still not on the pace. Setup tweaks in practice ensured that the carbon black machines were more competitive prospects by qualifying, but a lack of downforce has left drivers Hamilton and Russell once again singing from the same damning hymn sheet. "We are not where we want to be," was their collective analysis. It seems that the Mercedes team has lost its religion, and now feels that the promise of a rainbow at the end of a storm was a false idol. "I don't think this package is going to be competitive eventually," team boss Toto Wolff conceded. "We gave it our best shot all over the winter, and now we just need to all regroup and sit down with the engineers, who are totally not dogmatic about anything. There are no holy cows, and we need to decide what is the development direction that we want to pursue in order to be competitive to win races." The W14 was not even on par pace as last year's Red Bull RB18, which is one sad news for the Silver Arrows. But what they are more worried of is the challenge they are facing from Aston Martin. The W14 might be faster on qualifying pace, but the Aston Martin has a huge lead on long-run pace. On the track, the MR23 is faster than the SF23, which was evident by the fact that Carlos Sainz could not defend P3 from Fernando Alonso. This is a huge problem for Mercedes, as it seems though over the winter break, instead of taking a step forward, they have taken a step backwards. Mercedes were desperate to provide their drivers with a more competitive car this year after a challenging 2022 season for the team. But Hamilton and Russell again have a machine which looks unlikely to be challenging for the title, and an emergency meeting was reportedly held at the team's factory. Mike Elliot is head of the Mercedes technical department. His technical team and his design team over the last couple of years have certainly failed to adapt correctly to the new era of regulations. Mercedes obviously aren't happy about this, and we believe that the relationship between Toto Wolff and Mike Elliot is becoming rather fractured. Apparently, there are several reports flying out of the German camp revealing that there's been an ultimatum delivered to Mike Elliot. It seems though, Elliot is going to be given a bit more to make this car go much faster over the coming races, and if he fails to do so, then he might have to face the harsh truth in front of Toto Wolff. We do believe that Mercedes hit a lot of their aerodynamic objectives, but they just seem to have set the targets way low, it seems, compared to what Red Bull have been able to accomplish over the winter break. Hamilton even said at the launch that the team has been able to solve some issues, and some issues that they got to work on. The issues Hamilton was talking about seems very clear now that we've seen it actually race in Bahrain. Toto Wolff is very frustrated, and for good reason, that the same engine, the same gearbox, same rear suspension is way ahead of them in the Aston Martin. Aston Martin is a bit more draggy, as we saw both Astons were not able to hit the top speeds Hamilton and Russell were able to get out of the W14. The high-speed corners are where the Mercedes seems to struggle a lot due to the lack of overall downforce, as Hamilton has said before. So, there's even an argument to say that the W14 will be worse in Jeddah relative to Red Bull than they were in Bahrain. And that would be absolutely devastating. One thing to remember here is that every race that goes by where Mercedes are nowhere near the podium is a race where the pressure on Mike Elliott's shoulders gets even greater. Elliott made some comments about the W14. He said that the team has been able to solve the bouncing and many other issues within their car, and also said that the team are still getting to know about their unique concept. If you look at where we were last year, we had really big problems with porpoising. Over the winter, we have solved many, and we went into testing feeling like we had a better package to work with. However, we believe we haven't gotten the best out of the car. We're still getting to know her. According to many reports, the team is now going down a more radical changes route to get to speed with their competitors. The first upgrade, therefore, will probably arrive at Imola, and we believe that's going to be some changes to the side pods, not exactly a Red Bull or a Ferrari concept, but something that Mercedes have developed on their own. We've got different bodywork coming. It won't be the same as other people's, and it won't be the same as what we've got, but it'll be different, told Mike Elliot. It's just part of the normal development, he said. We have got a different sidepod that's coming in, but it takes time to bring that, it takes time to make the bits, it takes time to sort of change the bits to go underneath the bodywork for it to fit. So we'll bring it as soon as we can. The sidepod's upgrade may or may not be good news for Mercedes, because it changes the way the airflow works around the car, and the way teams use the airflow to seal off the floor so the floor is maximally effective. Changing the floor could create complication on other areas, like the underfloor. So it's a bit of a mess for Mercedes to try and dig themselves out of this hole. Obviously, the pressure at Mercedes will be at an all-time high due to the fact that this year is the time where the team has to negotiate a contract with Hamilton. Hamilton sure has the ability to perform at the highest level, considering that Alonso is 41 and he is still going at the highest possible level. Yes, we know that Hamilton has said that no matter what happens, he will be continuing with Mercedes for the years to come. But if the team is not able to deliver, will he sign the contract paper? That's the question within Mercedes. This is one of the biggest pressures they have to handle right now, considering the fact that Hamilton and the team went through a struggling season, thinking that the 2023 season will be much better, and yet they are not where they want to be. That's going to hit on the confidence levels everyone has, and it surely is putting a lot of pressure on Mike Elliot. Lewis Hamilton did open up publicly on his team not listening to him, and told that the team members should be accountable for what they do each and every time. Last year, I told them the issues that are with the car, Hamilton said on BBC's Checkered Flag podcast. Like, I've driven so many cars in my life, so I know what a car needs, I know what a car doesn't need. And I think it's really about accountability, it's about owning up and saying, yeah, you know what, we didn't listen to you, it's not where it needs to be and we've got to work. We're still multi-world champions, you know, it's just they haven't got it right this time, they didn't get it right last year. But that doesn't mean we can't get it right moving forwards. There was apparently a massive meeting held up at Brackley after the Bahrain Grand Prix, which was held until late at night. The team had a discussion about what we have been discussing in this video today, and also about Hamilton's comments on the car and the team, and fired an ultimatum to Mike Elliot. Through the ultimatum, the technical director is tasked with reviving the W14 project. And if he doesn't, he will have to face the consequences for not being able to deliver, meaning high chances of Elliott losing his job. It's hard to understand the knee-jerk reaction from the team and whether such ultimatums ever work. But the ultimatum's fired, and the technical team now has to work to improve performance of the W14. But what do you guys think? Will the ultimatum work? Can Mercedes improve the W14 with the likes of James Allison returning to the team? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.